Ohayou gozaimasu. I'm recording this in the morning, but whatever time of day it is for you, ohayou gozaimasu, konnichiwa, konbanwa. I am Krista, and I am recording some more lessons for lessons 3 and 4 for the Marugoto textbooks in order to help everyone out with how confusing they are. So I don't have any videos from Andrea yet because I'm filming this on Labor Day. So any videos that are going to go along with this, they'll either be posted after I can upload this, or she'll post them in the Discord server on Canvas, email them. I'm not sure what she'll do, but if there are any videos to go along with this, she'll post them out somewhere. So let's get into lesson 3. Okay, so for lesson 3, sorry, not 2, lesson 3, the first thing I wanted to go over was the kanji. I know it's pretty easy to look up what the kanji means, but I thought I'd just go over it really quick. So it's in the Bikai textbook. It is on page 39, so 39 peiji. It's in this little box right here. You can see that. Most of the time it's going to be in that box near the front of the lesson. So just going down the line from left to right and then down and then left to right again. So haru, that means spring. Natsu, that is summer. I almost said winter. No, that's summer. Natsu is summer. Aki, that's fall or winter, or sorry, fall or autumn. I don't know why I keep wanting to say winter. Fuyu is winter. Ima means now. Hana means flower. Umi means beach or the sea. Yama means a mountain. And kawa means river. So that's just what the kanji for this particular lesson is that it wants you to memorize, and that's on the kanji sheet. So then if you flip the page to page 40, so 40 peiji, in the blue box in the middle of the page, that's the first grammar lesson, I would say. You can see that right here in this box. So it says en ni, so noun ni, and then narimasu. And then the next one is I adjective, so I adjective ku narimasu, and then na adjective ni narimasu. So what ni ku and then ni is doing, it's changing the situation. So in a situation, you may become something. So narimasu means to become. So it's just showing that something was one thing and it's turning into another thing. And sorry if my video keeps shaking. My table is not very stable. So the examples that are right next to the box, in the little white section next to it, it says haru becomes haru ni. So it would be haru ni narimasu. So it's to become, I don't know why I keep wanting to say winter. It means to become spring. And then atatakai, so like warm, you would say atataku narimasu. So that means to become warm. And then the next word, that's the na adjective. So it's noun, I adjective, na adjective. Kirei na, so pretty or like beautiful. It's kirei ni narimasu, so to become beautiful. Okay, so that's the first section. So let me switch my screen over to the thing I have on Chrome. Okay, so I found this little resource on nihongo.anthemnet.com. It's /ku-narimasu/ again. If you wanted to look this up, it's just going over how narimasu is kind of used for I adjectives. So it says enpitsu ga nagai desu. So the pencil is long. And mijikaku shimasu. So to shorten. So if you put mijikaku narimashita, it became shorter. So he explains for adjectives ending with I, ku narimasu should be used otherwise, ni narimasu. So, if you go from byoki to genki, genki ni narimashita. You became genki, are you doing well? So sick to becoming fine or well, you became well. Okay, and then if it changes from winter to spring, winter to spring, haru ni narimashita. Haru ni, because it is a noun, became spring. Genki ni, because genki is a not adjective. Okay, so here's another use down here. I have already became 20 years old. Mo 20歳 ni narimashita. And then instead of that, you could say still haven't reached 20 years old. Mada 20歳に 20歳にはなりません. And then it says, as usual, for negative answer, ni wa should be used instead of ni. So for ku narimasu, it's ku arimasen. So ku narimasu, it means you have become something, or if you say ku arimasen, it means that it hasn't happened. Now, remember, masen is for a negative. Okay, so that's the first concept for lesson 3. So once again, if you have a noun, it's noun ni narimasu. So you are becoming, for example, haru ni narimasu, to become spring. And then the next one is for e adjectives. E adjective ku narimasu. So for example, atatakai turns into atatakaku narimasu. So you're becoming warm. Then for not adjectives, it's not adjective ni narimasu. So for example, kirei na becomes kirei ni narimasu, to become pretty or beautiful. So that's the first lesson. In the Bikai textbook, it's it's the first lesson on page 40, so 40 peji. And in the Katsudo textbook, the white one, it goes over e adjectives with ku, so e adjective ku, and what it changes to. So atatakai turns into atataku, atsui turns into atsuku, samui turns into samuku, suzushi turns into suzushiku, and that's on page 36, so 36 peji. And it just goes over the adjectives in changing the situation. So remember that noun ni, e adjective ku, na adjective ni changes the situation. So narimasu is to become. So you're changing that situation by adding ni, ku, or ni. Okay? So then let's go to the next one. Sorry if you heard knocking, that was my mom. What was I saying? So noun ga suki desu. Noun wa suki janai desu. So you're saying I do like something or I don't like something. So it's less harsh than saying that you hate something. So instead of saying kirai desu, you would say suki janai. So you just don't like it. You don't hate it, but you just don't like it. So that's for nouns. So for e adjectives, it's e adjective ii no ga suki desu, or e adjective ii no wa suki janai desu. And then for not adjectives, it's not adjective na no ga suki desu. Once again, for not adjectives, to say you don't like something, it's not adjective na no wa suki janai desu. So if you want to say that you don't like something, and you want to nominalize the noun, adjective, or the not adjective, you would use nothing for nouns. It's just the noun, ga suki desu, or noun, wa suki janai desu. Adjective, it's adjective, ii no ga suki desu, or adjective, ii no wa suki janai desu. And then for not adjectives, it's na adjective, na no ga suki desu. Once again, na adjectives, na no wa suki janai desu. So in the section below this one, it's the one in a circle. It has some examples for where you can practice. So the first one, it just has, looks like spring. So it's saying, oh, should I do haru no, or just haru by itself? Ga suki desu. So watashi wa haru ga suki desu. Since it's a noun, you're not going to add anything to it. The second sentence is watashi no neko mo, so your cat. Is it atatakai or atatakai no ga suki desu? So since atatakai is an adjective, we would do ino. So it's not going to be A, it's going to be B. So it's atatakai no ga suki desu. Then the third example is Abe-san, so Abe-san, so a person, his name's Abe. Abe-san wa samui, so either samui or samui no kisetsu ga suki desu. So samui, since that is an adjective, that's also going to be ino. So it's samui no kisetsu ga, sorry if you hear my dog and the vacuum in the background, kisetsu ga suki desu. And then the last example, number 4, watashi wa hanami, so that's the flower festival, or like when you go flower watching in Japan. Hanami no party ga, so party, nigate desu. And then the second sentence, it's saying if it's popular. So nigiyaka, or is it nigiyaka nano ga suki janai desu? And since nigiyaka is a not adjective, you're gonna add nano. So it's B, not A. B, nigiyaka nano wa suki janai desu. So the second concept in lesson 3. I don't know if I have any videos or anything. Let me check double real quick. Okay, so I don't have any videos. So we'll go on to the third concept in lesson 3. It's on page 43 in the Rikai textbook, so 43 peiji. It's at the top right here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's right here. So it's where it says S1. I can't really read that. Whatever it says right there, I think it's reasons. Kara S2. Double check in the Katsubo textbook. I don't think it's in the Katsubo textbook. Don't know why, but I don't think it's explained. Yeah, it's not explained from what I can see in the Katsubo textbook. So this one's just in the Rikai textbook. So looking at page 43 in the Rikai textbook, it says S1, reason, kara, S2. So S1 is S is the sentence, the whole sentence. S1 is the reason for what S2 expresses. So in a conversation, you would order it as S1 and S2, or you could reverse it and say S2 first and then S1. But you would have to move kara from, if you have it S1, kara, S2, you would change it from S2, S1, kara. So the example that's in the Rikai textbook, it is natsuyasumi ga, so it is summer break, arimasu. So natsuyasumi ga arimasu kara. So Because of summer break, basically, natsu ga ichiban suki desu. So because of summer break, summer is this person's favorite. It's just their favorite. They didn't say it's exactly their favorite season, but I'm assuming in this context they would mean that it's their favorite season. And then the second example of using kara. So kara was in the middle of the sentence for the first example. So natsuyasumi ga arimasu kara, comma, natsu ga ichiban suki desu. So the kara is in the middle of this sentence. And then for the second example, you could also put kara at the end of the sentence. So the natsuyasumi ga arimasu is S1, and then natsu ga ichiban suki desu is S2. So we're going to flip them, put natsu ga ichiban suki desu, period, natsuyasumi ga arimasu kara. So kara is going to be at the end of the sentence. So you're flipping it from S1 kara, S2, to S2, period, S1 kara. And kara means because. So you're just explaining the reason why you like something, like why something is happening because of this, etc., etc. So it's kind of a brief explanation of kara and how to use it. If you're confused on anything about kara and like how to like make it make sense in a sentence, you can always ask me, Andrea, or Imhof Sensei. I believe that's the last concept in lesson 3. Yeah, so that's the last concept in lesson 3. If you have any questions about vocab, or you're not sure about what a vocab word means because you can't seem to find a specific definition for it anywhere, you can always message Andrea, me, or Imhof Sensei. So I'm going to pause real quick, and then I'll get started on lesson 4. Forgot something. I just realized that I was going to go over the grammar. So I'm going to look at the grammar sheet. So this is at the bottom of modules. My computer. If you scroll all the way down in modules, it has the grammar lessons. So I'm doing lesson 3 and 4 right now. So for lesson 3, basically going over everything I had just said, but just kind of going over it more in more detail. So this is saying that you are becoming 22. 22 歳 plus なります becomes 22歳になります. So because 22 years old is a noun, it would be ni. So になります. Okay, and then these are just more examples of nouns that you would use ni with. Okay, and then so this one indicates the one up here. So these are all going to be e-adjectives. So samui plus narimasu becomes samuku narimasu. As it's an e-adjective. E-adjectives use ku when using narimasu. Okay, and then there's more examples of e-adjectives that you would use ku with. Okay, and then the not adjectives are down here. So genki plus narimasu becomes genki ni narimasu because not adjectives use ni. So these are more examples of not adjectives that you might use to say that you're becoming something. Okay, and then this is going over the nominalization. So when things become nouns. So it goes over the noun ga, nothing added, noun ga suki desu, or noun wa suki janai desu, adjective no ga suki desu, no. And then the adjective no wa suki janai desu. So may see a difference between the textbook saying ino or nano for na adjectives. For the adjectives, since usually they end with e, you can just add no to it. You don't have to add another e to it. So it's kirei, or sorry, not kirei. Atsui. So instead of saying atsui no, you would just do atsui no. So just one e. No ga suki desu or no wa suki janai desu. For non-adjectives, you would, since most non-adjectives don't end in na, so like benri or shizuka or yune or kirei, they don't end with na, so you want to add the na. Just because that's how you show that it's a non-adjective when you're conjugating this. So kirei na no ga nigate desu. So instead of saying suki desu like up here, we're using nigate desu. So kirei na no wa nigate janai desu. Okay, and then below we just keep going through examples of how to use it. So here's the noun. You're not adding anything, just ga suki desu or wa suki janai desu. And then down here again with an e adjective, atsui no, just add the no, ga suki desu. Atsui no wa suki janai desu. And then with the na adjective, shizuka nano ga nigate desu. Or shizuka nano wa nigate janai desu. And then it goes down here to kind of explain particle ga. I'll pull up the particle sheet that I had posted in the Discord server in a second, but let's go over this grammar sheet first. So particle ga, it has to do with ability, showing ability. So dekimasu, tokui, nigate, jouzu, eta. And it can also show preference, suki, kirai, so if you like or hate something, location or event, imasu, arimasu, description, weather or body parts. And then this goes over superlatives. So haru ga suki desu, haru ga ichiban suki desu. So I didn't look this up beforehand. So I'm pretty sure the superlative in this sentence would be either ichiban or suki. I'm assuming it's suki because it's in both sentences and it's kind of explaining like your behavior towards something, so you like something. And then it goes down to the reason for something. So kara, so because, therefore. So you can do either the first way to do it is S1 kara comma reason 2 or S2, or you can do S2 period S1 kara period. So this is more conversational, and it looks like this one is more polite than conversational. And then this has more examples. So testo ga arimasu kara benkyou shimasu. So kara is in the middle with this one as well as this one. So it's not as conversational as the second form of it. So nihongo ga gangarimasu kara. Okay. My katakana is kind of awful, so don't mind me. So because, yeah. So basically, because of this, you feel this way about something. Or you do this because of this. Okay. And then this just goes through changing this sentence into using kara at the end. So, sakura ga kirei desu kara. So because the sakura is pretty. And then it goes on to another example of changing the sentence into kara. So because this is this. So that's the grammar. Sorry I didn't really explain this one very well. My katakana is not the best, and I'm still working on getting back to where I can remember most of it. But yeah, so that's this grammar form. I'm going to pull up the particle worksheet to kind of better explain ga. So, 1 sec. Okay, so here's the particle worksheet that Emma Sensei gave me back in high school when I had Japanese with her. You can see there's all different types of particles in here. So we're going to look at ga today. So wa and ga, typically they indicate subjects by coming after them. So the meaning, it could be is, am, are, and then ga typically emphasizes what comes before it, whereas compared to wa, it emphasizes what comes after it. So, for example, watashi wa koichi desu. So I am koichi versus watashi ga koichi desu. I am koichi. Okay, so for the first example, watashi wa koichi desu. You would use it when you're introducing yourself to someone, and then the second one would be more when you, more like one of those movies where one person has a gun pointed at two individual targets where they're saying, I am Koichi, and no, I'm Koichi. So that's the example of what's said in here. So the important part that's emphasized is the I. So you would use ga. So if you're emphasizing that it's I, you would use ga instead of wa. Okay, so then let's look at the few examples that we have down here with ga. So nani ga tabetai. Sorry, it's kind of small on my screen. So what is it that you want to eat? So you're asking specifically, what type of food do you want to eat? So it's asking specifically like, hey, do you want to go get McDonald's? Do you want to go get Taco Bell? Do you want to go to Olive Garden? I don't know, something like that. Okay, and then the second example, it's sushi ga suki desu. So that's, instead of emphasizing that you like it, you're saying that sushi, like specifically sushi, is the thing that you like, and you're emphasizing sushi. So I like sushi versus it is sushi that I like. So it's just putting more emphasis on the first word of the sentence. Versus wa, so ga emphasizes before, what comes before the ga, and wa has to do with what emphasizes what comes after the wa. Hopefully that kind of helps explain ga a little bit better than what was on the grammar sheet. And then I think that's everything with lesson 3. So then we'll move on to lesson 4. Okay, so in lesson 4, of course, as always, we're going to be first looking at the Rikai textbook. So this one, the orange one, on page 48, so 48 page. It's going to be like the entire second half of the page. So starting from this little box 2 all the way down to the bottom. You can see my little arrow right here, indicating that this whole thing is what we're going to be going over. So that's in the Rikai textbook. In the Katsudo textbook, it's going to be on page 41. So the Katsudo textbook, it has a more brief explanation of what's going on with this particular concept. So if you want to look at the Katsudo textbook, you can, but I prefer looking at the Rikai textbook. So this is going to be the first concept of lesson 4. So looking at page 48, so 48 page in the Rikai textbook, it's going over polite forms of past and non-past forms. So I'm sure everyone knows this is the present or future form of a sentence, and mas is the present or future tense for a sentence versus deshita or mashita. So for nouns, adjectives, adjectives, it's going to be des and deshita versus verbs, which is verb mas or verb mashita. So looking at the table on page 48, this one right here, we're going to go down the line and kind of explain what each of them mean. So for the first section, we're going to go over the noun section. So the affirmative form. So something is positive. So like if you like something, you would say ski desu versus ski janai desu. So you like something versus you don't like something. So in the non-past tense, so des, noun des, and then there's going to be the past tense, which is noun deshita. And then to make the form non-past but negative, you're going to add janai desu. So let's kind of look at it this way. So the affirmative or positive form is going to be noun des or noun deshita. So that's the positive present / future, positive past, des present or future, deshita past. So that's the positive for each, just if it's future, present, or past. Then we move to the negative forms for future or present, and then past. So the negative form of future or present, sorry about my dog, is noun janai desu. Versus for a negative form in the past tense, it would be noun janakatta desu. I'm gonna pause real quick. My dog stops barking. Okay, dog stopped barking. So yeah, she didn't. Okay, so once again for nouns, the positive form versus the negative form. So it's like ski desu or ski janai desu. So for positive, how would I explain this better so where you can like visualize it? I'm gonna try and pull up a chart that you guys can see real quick. Hopefully that's more helpful. Okay, so I wasn't able to find something that you could visualize along with watching me. So just look at the textbook as I'm doing this. Hopefully that will help with this. So noun, we're going to work on the noun section. So noun des versus noun deshita. So past versus present. So des, present, deshita, past, both positive form. Negative form, present is going to be noun janai desu. Past form is past, so negative past is noun janakatta desu. For the example that's in the textbook, it's ame desu. So it's so ame, rain. So ame desu is present or future positive. And then ame deshita means that it rained in the past. So that's positive and past. So for the negative, future or present, it's going to be ame janai desu. And then the negative past form is going to be ame janakatta desu. And then for not adjectives, it's not adjective desu, not adjective deshita, and then not adjective janai desu, not adjective janakatta desu. Same as nouns. And then the example is 大変です、大変でした、大変じゃないです、大変じゃなかったです。Okay, and then here's where it gets a little bit different. So nouns and not adjectives, they have the same conjugation for positive and negative for both their present / future tense and their past tense. For e-adjectives, it's a bit different. So e-adjectives, e-adjective, des, simple, okay? Then we have e-adjective for the past form. So the positive past form is going to be e-adjective, kata desu. Okay, so if you're looking in the box on page 48, it is the third box down in the affirmative form. So e-adjective, kata desu. And then the negative form of the present or future tense is e-adjective, kunai desu. And then the past form of the negative form, so negative form past tense, is e-adjective, kunakatta desu. And the example here is atsui desu. So it's atsukatta desu. Atsukatta desu. Atsukatta desu. So you're going to drop the e. Atsukatta desu. And then I think that's right. And then it's going to be atsukunai desu for the negative form of the future / present tense. So atsukunai desu. So it's not hot currently versus atsukuna katta desu. It was not hot. And then the last section is the verbs. So this one's also pretty similar. It's pretty easy because most people have heard it. So then the positive future / present tense is verb must, and then the positive form of the past tense is verb mashita, and then the negative form of the future / present tense is verb masen, versus the negative form of the past tense, which is verb masen deshita. The example that they have is kuruimasu. That turns into kuruimashita for the past positive. So the positive form in past tense. And then that turns into, for the negative form, the future / present tense is kuruimasen. And then the negative form past tense is kuruimasen deshita. So hopefully that kind of explains the past tense. On page 41 in the Katsugo textbook, it doesn't really explain it super well. It has like some examples you can go over and stuff, but it doesn't really go over it too thoroughly and kind of explain it, if that makes sense. So we're going to move on to the second concept of lesson 4. If I can pause this, my thing let me. Zoom is being weird. I am sorry about this. Am I stuck in Zoom? I think I might be. Well, if I am stuck in Zoom, I'm just going to move on to the next thing. Hopefully, this is actually working. Because if not, what just happened? I am having technical difficulties. I'm just going to keep going forward. Yeah, just going to keep going forward. And I don't know why my Zoom is being weird. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, sorry for that. So the second concept in lesson 4 is on page 50 in the Rika textbook. So that is going over te form and adding imasu to the end to it. Yeah. Sorry, it's Goju page. So let me show you. I really hope this is still recording. Okay. So it's that little blue box with the 1 group, 2 group, 3 group next to it. So it is continuing action or result of an action. The contracted form is verb te mas. Verb te mas is often used in spoken Japanese. So the examples that are right here is kumori mas turns into kumotte, and then you would do kumotte imasu. And then the second example is tsukurimasu turns into tsukutte, and that turns into tsukutte imasu. And then the next one is sumorimasu, and that turns into sumotte imasu. Okay, and then furimasu turns into futteimasu. Fukimasu turns into fuite imasu. Sakimasu turns into saite imasu. Haremasu turns into harate imasu. Demasu turns into dete imasu. Shimasu turns into shite imasu. So it's just making it a contracted form of using te form. So instead of just adding something on to, so like say you have two verbs and you're just adding them both together in a sentence. Say if you're just using te form and there's only like one verb in the sentence, you would just use verb teimasu. So you can end the sentence and you don't have to really add two verbs if you don't have two verbs that you want to describe it. On the Katsudo textbook, it's on page 43. It just turns it into te form. It doesn't kind of explain teimasu. So once again, look at the Rikai textbook. So that's kind of teimasu, and like why you would use it. I don't know if it's gonna let me share my screen because I think my Zoom messed up for some reason. But if you look at the lesson for grammar PDF that's on Canvas, sorry, it goes over the types of weather, and then it kind of gives examples of how you would conjugate that. So it says, Donna tenki desu ka? You could say, ame desu, so it rain. The weather is rain. Or you could say, ame ga futteimasu, so it is raining. So you would use the teimasu in that example. Or you can say, samui desu, it is cold. And then it just goes over the present / future tense versus the past tense for the nouns, the adjectives, non-adjectives, and verbs. And it's kind of broken up a little bit easier to kind of tell. So it has the present versus the past tense in one big box together, and then it has the present negative form versus the past negative form together in the second one. So hopefully I am able to end this Zoom meeting. If you have any questions, let me and Hof Sensei or Adriana know if you have any questions. If you want me to go over anything again or kind of re-explain it, you can message me on Canvas, Discord, wherever you want to, or you can message me and we can get on voice chat in Discord, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna figure out if I can actually